Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to the School of Personal Finance. My name is Rich McCormick. In this video, we're going to be talking about disability insurance. Do you even know if you have disability insurance? Most people don't even know if they have it. That's usually because it's offered through their employer. So check out the video, learn about disability insurance. It's important. So what is disability insurance? Very simply put, it's just income protection. It's an insurance policy that will protect a portion of your income if you were to become hurt and couldn't work anymore. So what does it mean if you were to become hurt? There are many different causes that could prevent you from going to work every day. It could be lower back pain. It could be carpal tunnel. It could be joint pain. It could be a mental illness. It could be because of a pregnancy. There's so many different things that could cause a disability. So there are two different types of disability insurance coverage. There's what we call short-term disability and long-term disability. So the first type of insurance is short-term disability. And with short-term, it's exactly what it sounds like. It covers a short period of time that you might not be able to work because you're disabled. Most short-term policies, they go from 3 months to 6 months maybe. Some might go to a year. Say you get into a car accident and you're laid up in the hospital for a month and you can't go to work. Your policy might have an elimination period, which is 14 days. So that means for the first 14 days, you're not going to receive any benefits. You have to wait till you get through that elimination period, and then the benefits will kick in. And a typical short-term policy might cover 70% of your income. So you'll still receive your paycheck. It'll just be 70% of what you used to receive. And if that's an employer benefit, if your work is paying for that benefit, then that means that the check that you receive is still going to be subject to taxes. So the second type of disability insurance is long-term disability. With long-term disability, it's typically 1 year or longer. And depending on how you purchase the policy, if it's an individual policy compared to a group policy through your employer, like with an individual policy, you could choose how long of a benefit period you want to have with that policy. If you choose a 5-year benefit period and it has a 1-year waiting period, then you have to wait a year before benefits kick in, and then it lasts for 5 years if you remain disabled. You could also have a benefit period of up to age 65 or up to retirement age. So the longer that you have the benefit period, the more expensive the policy is going to be, because that means the longer that it could have the possibility of paying out. And when you own an individual policy, you have to go through underwriting. So depending on what type of work you do, right? If you have a very high-risk job, then your policy is going to be more expensive. If you have a very low-risk job, then it'll be less expensive. And you could have exclusions. So if you already have back problems, then that's going to be excluded from your disability insurance policy. So there are really 3 different ways that you could own disability insurance. The first one is where it's just part of your employer benefits package. So it's paid for through your employer. You're not paying any out of paycheck or anything like that. It's just part of your benefit package. And hopefully that includes short-term disability and also long-term disability. You still want to understand how that policy works. What the elimination period is. What it covers. Does it cover you if you can't perform any type of job, or is it just your specific job? So you want to get the details of how it works. And the way that I always tell people to think about it and the way to ask the questions is, ask about different scenarios. So you could say to your employer, if I were to get into a car accident and I couldn't work for 4 months, what would happen? What would it look like? Or if I'm pregnant and I have complications and I can't come back to work for 3 months, what does it look like? If I have a mental illness and I'm out for a year, what does that look like? If I get cancer and I could no longer work and I'm probably never coming back to work, what would that look like? So you want to ask the different scenarios, the different situations, and see how your coverage will actually protect you if that was to happen to you. So we have employer coverage. And now with employer coverage also, the benefit that you receive, because it's paid for by work, by your employer, you're going to be taxed on the benefit. So if you get 70% of your salary, let's say that's $5,000 a month, you're going to be taxed on that $5,000 a month. So now the second type is group voluntary benefits. So what that means is that you could choose through your employer to participate and to purchase disability insurance. So it's one of the options on the menu for your benefits, and you could choose to enroll in it or choose not to. And now in this case, you're going to be paying for it. So it will be payroll deducted, out of your paycheck every 2 weeks or whatever it is, and you'll be paying for that benefit. The big difference with this one is that the benefit is going to be tax-free because you're paying for it. So if you get $5,000 a month in a benefit because you're disabled, you get to keep all $5,000 of that. It will be a tax-free benefit. And another advantage to that type of policy is that it's portable. Typically, it's portable, meaning if you leave your job, you might be able to take it with you over to your next job, or if you become self-employed or whatever it is, you might be able to continue that policy by directly paying the insurance company. And then the third way that you could have disability insurance is by going out and buying an individual policy through an insurance company. In this scenario, you actually own the policy, so you don't have to worry if you were to get laid off or if you leave jobs or change jobs. You own it. So no matter where you work or what you're doing, you have this individual disability policy. And really what you have to do is you have to qualify for it, and then it's yours. So even if you change careers, if you change jobs, you'll still have this insurance policy, that you just have the relationship directly with the insurance company, and it's not tied to any employer. Now, disability insurance is so important, and it's so often overlooked for some reason. But just imagine if you're living, paycheck to paycheck, you have a little bit of savings in the bank, like most Americans, right? There's not a ton of money there, where if you all of a sudden we're not getting paid anymore, it would put you in a really bad situation. So just imagine that you get into a car accident and that you can't work for 7 months and you don't have any type of disability insurance. What would your family do? What would happen if you didn't have that insurance available to you? And especially if you're self-employed, like for example, if you have a painting company and you go around and you paint, the inside of homes and you work for yourself. If you can't go to work anymore, that means that there's no more income coming in. If you don't have disability insurance to protect that income, you would really be in a bad situation unless you have, a tremendous amount of money in the bank to float you until you're able to go back to work. So people out there are taking a tremendous risk in not having any kind of coverage whatsoever when it comes to becoming disabled. And most people, they don't really think about this stuff. They're not sure if they're covered. And if they're self-employed, then it's really all falls on them. And people will say things like, well, Social Security disability will kick in and will protect me if I become, disabled. But the truth is that really will only happen if you have like a permanent disability where there's no chance of you going back to work. And even if you do qualify for Social Security disability, the payment on average is around $1,200 a month. So is that really going to protect your lifestyle if something were to happen to you? Another question that I'll hear a lot is, won't workers' compensation cover me if I become disabled? And the answer to that is only if you get hurt on the job. So if you get hurt on a Saturday when you're not working, doing yard work, then your workers' comp is not going to cover you. You need to have disability insurance to cover you in that instance if you're going to be out of work for a while. Thanks for watching. Please check out schoolofpersonalfinance.com. Please join my email list so I can send you out whenever I post a new video or a new blog post. Check out my Facebook group, get involved in the discussion. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you again soon. Thanks.